Okay, so Jess, this is what we did last time. We got this far. It's pretty smooth. They're not perfectly aligned, but certainly good enough for the next step. And again, there's very little glue squeeze out, so we don't have a lot of cleanup to do here, which is good. And, you know, so ultimately this is where we're starting out. And now what we're going to do is we're going to rip one side off or cross-cut one side nice and smooth, and then we're going to cut it into chunks, going strips this way, so that we can rearrange it into a checkerboard pattern. Now, the hard part is this is very wide. There's our blade. If we try to guide this, there's no good way to do it from back here with the miter gauge. So we're going to use a jig that's called a panel sled. So this is our panel sled here. It has two of our ZeroPlay guide bars on the bottom that ride in the miter slot and let it go front and back for us.
Cool.
Now, you'll notice that the fence is on the front. Usually the fence is on the back for sleds, but again, if we bring it back far enough to start that cut, it gets tricky back here. So with a panel sled, what that allows us to do is to have a wider piece, and we can cut all the way across it before we get too far beyond the end of the table. So that's how we're going to play this one out. So we're going to set this on here. And we've already set it up, if you notice, so that this side is very close to our blade.
Yeah.
And that's intentional. So now we know exactly where that's going to cut. So we're going to bring this up, the blade, until it's, well, until it's set up where we want it to be. But before we get started, we got to talk a little bit about safety. So the first thing I'm going to do is remove my watch because we don't want any jewelry hanging off our wrists. We don't use gloves in the shop, even though we're handling wood that might give us splinters, because if the glove gets caught, it can drag your hand into the tool, and we don't want that.
No way.
We don't want, I've got my hearing protection here, but we don't want dangling necklaces. You've got yours tucked inside the shirt. That's excellent. And if we were in a cooler environment where we were wearing long sleeves, I always like to roll them back up onto the forearms. We don't want anything that could dangle or get caught in any of the machinery. And then, of course, we're going to have hearing protection and eye protection.
Yep. Check, check.
In the shop, your brain is the biggest safety device you've got. If you use your brain and think about what you're doing and are careful, you'll usually be safe. All right, so now we're going to put our hearing protection on. And essentially, so we're going to want to start with the hand on the fence here, and you're going to stand at this side of the blade, and you're just going to push it until you get past the blade here. When that part falls off, we can move it over and bring it back. All right, so I'll make the first pass, and then we'll set up a stop block, so we can cut each one the same. Now it looks like this is the shortest one this way, so we should be able to cut all of this off nice and clean now. Now I'm going to pull it to the side and back it off. So now we've got some nice clean strips. And you got this funky little piece. So now we need to set how far we want to make our cuts, and I think that they probably should be about the same as this, or do we want to go that way with it? Let's see. We're going to take these, and we're going to switch them back and forth. So it doesn't really matter how wide they are as long as we keep them the same, but I think that for a square pattern, we'll want to do the same width as our part here. So, we don't want to have the part trapped between the blade and the rip fence. You know, we could set to whatever that block is But then the part's trapped here and can come flying back out at us, and that's no good. So we're going to use a dado stop. The center part of the dado stop is exactly 3 inches long, and that will allow us to put our piece up, and as long as this is in front of the blade, when that part comes off, it'll hit there and we'll be good. It won't bind up. There's plenty of clearance here. So this is 3 inches. We're at 1 3/8 inches here. So we're going to set to 4 3/8. We're going to bring it up because of we want to make sure that when we slide our panel over, it's going to hit that. And now we'll cut that one off too. All right, you ready? So we're going to make sure it's back behind the blade. Slide it over until it touches. Yep. Now grab all the way in the front, and you're going to mostly push with this hand. You're just holding the front so things don't go wonky on you. So go ahead. Just let it go. Yep. There you go. Now slide the whole thing back. So the ZeroPlay keeps the sled from getting into the blade, and it guides the sled for us, and it gives us a pretty good cut.
All right, keep going?
Yep. Now it does start to get tricky here when we come down to the end like this. So the next couple we'll do with the gripper. All right, Jess, so for these last couple of strips, we are going to use the fence, and we're going to have the gripper here, one in each hand, to help make the cut. And again, like before when we were ripping the full-size pieces, we're going to use the gravity heel here behind the gripper to allow you to finish pushing it through without having to reach too far across the table. Mm-hmm. So once again, I'll do one and then you can go ahead and finish it up. Now we're just about where we want to drop the balance support down. So I'll do that here, and we'll add one to this one as well. Now remember, we're going to start over here, and then as soon as this one is capable of being put up against the fence, you're going to keep it there, make your cut. It's just like what we did before. Right, that's good.
But it also has to be up on the fence.
Always riding the fence, correct. Perfect. All right. Now on this one, you're going to want to drop the balance support now. Now we'll get one more slice out of it, just like you did before. And now that balance support is not only going to help you put on the you're good.
It's not hooked on.
There you go. Very good. So we didn't have a whole lot of waste.
Yep. Wow, look at that.
So basically, this is the glue up we're going to do. And we're at 19.5 here, 19.5 there.
Wow.
So far it's coming out good. We can make it 18 by 18 or whatever you want to do. It's all in the glue up now. Okay, Jess, so we're going to be gluing up just like last time. Again, we're going to flip the pieces down, apply the glue, and then flip them back up. We can start with this one in place. But this time there's one difference, and that's that we can't just glue it up into strips, not worrying about the ends. In this case, we have to worry about these ends. We don't want them, not aligned because that ruins our checkerboard effect. Mm-hmm. So if you remember last time, we clamped this on top to keep the pieces all aligned that way. This time we're going to clamp it to the table here, and then as you glue and put each one of these in, you're going to butt it up against that piece. Yeah. And that way, we should keep this checkerboard alignment pretty good. So why don't you grab a couple of clamps. You can slide them in there. And again, just, 3 clamps or something on there. I'll get the glue. So again, we're going to glue this up, and then afterwards, once it's all glued, we'll put this piece in and we'll put a clamp in between them this way. But our main clamping effort is going to be going front to back because of the whole setup of this.
And we'll be using the longer
clamp,
longer body clamps. Cool.
I'm going to swap.
Just going to put a 4th one for good measure.
Yeah, that'll be nice. All right, so this one's going to be the way it is, and then we're just going to move all these over and flip them, just like we did before. Slide this one well out of the way if we need to. There you go. There's your glue, there's your roller. And you remember what you have to do from the last time.
Yeah,
start up here and we'll just start putting them together.
Okay. So last time we did like 2 strips of glue.
Yeah, and on the first one you may have to add a little more glue just because the
the roller
some of it's going to stick on the roller.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
And these are end grains, so they are going to, normally you would be worried about them absorbing a little more than normal glue. But these are walnut and maple, so they're pretty tight grain. there's not a lot of pores on these where they're at. All right, good. Yep, right up against this one. All right.
Does it matter how saturated the ends are? Or?
No, we're good.
Okay.
Some of it will squeeze out as we apply the clamps.
Okay. Okie dokie.
All right. Slide this toward you so that we're in between the yellows. Perfect. I'll put this one in here. We'll get that lined up. So now, these all look reasonably well lined up. We're just going to apply a little bit of pressure, just enough to hold everything. And then we'll put some more over here. So again, at this point, we're not that worried about level up here. It's pretty decent. It's only about 1/16 of an inch out, if anything. But we're going to plane this down with the CNC next, after this glue all dries up. And so when we do that, we're going to take this all down and we will have a nice flat surface. Then we'll flip it over and do the other side, and we'll have two parallel surfaces that are flat and a specific thickness that we've got. So this looks pretty good.
It's coming alive.
Right, and now we've got that checkerboard pattern we were looking for before, and it looks, I don't see any real huge gaps. I think this looks pretty good. So I'm happy.
Me too.
All right,
Yay.
Next time we'll sit down at the computer, we'll put together a program for the CNC to plane this down, and then we'll work through that.
Right on.
All right.